Hello, Red Wave. This is Beware of Bulldogs. We are your hosts, Caleb Nail, and my good friend Caleb Pletz, who's next to me. If you're on YouTube or Twitter, we are live every Monday at 7 p.m. You can follow us on Twitter at Beware_Bulldogs, or check us out on YouTube, Beware of Bulldogs. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you know exactly when we go live. We are now partners with Bulldog Sports Properties, the local Learfield multimedia rights team, making this the official fan podcast of Fresno State Athletics. Make sure you tune in each and every week to get the latest news and see us goofballs joke around. Make sure you have a drink every Monday night. We will, though, I will say this, we will be moving to Sunday nights. Once we play Purdue, the Sunday after we play Purdue, we will be live every Sunday night. Caleb, we haven't decided on a time. We will get that out there. Make sure that we get that out there. And we will be live every Sunday night on Twitter and YouTube to recap the game. And we want to hear from you. It's going to be wild in the chat. I know. Today, it's official, Caleb. The predictions are going in the spreadsheet. So what we say is final. We're going to play profit here and predict the rest of the season, or how the season's going to go. We are also going to take your guys' hot takes and bold predictions. So either put that under our tweet or on Instagram or in the chat here. And if you have a burning question, now is the time to get it in. So make sure you get your burning questions in. You can always message us if you are listening a day later, because these do come out in podcast form on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening. Thank you for listening. If you have a burning question, message us. We'd love to answer it. And if you want to get our take, I still can't believe people care about what we say, Caleb, and our takes. You can message us. Last thing, you can follow me on Twitter, Caleb_GoDogs, and Caleb Pletz at CMP Go Dogs. Caleb, I'm done with all of the beginning. Thank you for tuning in, or thank you for joining me as always. How was the week, man? How was your weekend? How was the week? How'd it go?
Week was good. That was a heck of an intro. Good job. Long-winded, but yeah, it was good. Got to celebrate your son's first birthday, so that was fun. So yeah, we are actually friends outside of the internet world. So we do meet in real life sometimes. So
we do life together.
We do, yeah. So that was fun. I mean, crazy weather over the weekend, rain, thunderstorm, trees falling down. So very, very crazy time here in middle of August, but should be warming up and get back to California or Fresno football weather.
Yeah, I'm looking outside right now. It's a little bit windy. Well, this is in Kerman, by the way. It can be different. A little windy and no rain yet, though. I spent a week preparing the yard for my son's 1-year birthday party. In 2 hours, there's pine needles everywhere. The pool's a mess. It was it was fun, though. So thank you for coming in. My wife made the drinks a little too strong, but that's what a 1-year-old birthday party's for. It's not for the 1-year-old. This is for us.
Exactly.
We had a good time. Okay, first things first, I'm going to touch on a couple sports outside of football, Caleb. I just want to get some scores out there, your scoreboard. The women's soccer team tied with Cal Poly 1-1 and beat Bakersfield 2-1 in this past week while we were away. Their next game is August 24th at home versus Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara. So if you are in town, check out the times. It is August 24th at home. Women's volleyball, their first game is August 25th versus UC San Diego. I am not sure if that's home or away or neutral site, but what I do know is that the first game is August 25th versus UC San Diego, if anyone's interested. Because we're all Fresno State diehards. We support the Dogs, and I want to let you guys know about everything else that's going on as well. Okay, two things, Caleb, before we get into burning questions, hot takes, bold predictions, and our official predictions for the season. Gloria Nevarez, commissioner of the Mountain West, visited Fresno State today. Had a little press conference. My thoughts on it really quick before I turn it over to you, Caleb, is this. I'm not too sure if the Mountain West is actively looking to expand. However, I do know that they will not tell anyone if they are. So I don't know if you got to see the interview or catch the short notes of it, but what are your thoughts about the Gloria Nevarez visit to Fresno?
Yeah, I just caught a couple clips in written form. So, yeah, probably not as educated as you are. But yeah, interesting. I mean, I'm glad she's making the rounds of visiting schools. I think that's good to be in touch with all the member institutions. I think, especially in the wake of the Pac 12 demise, I'm sure. The conferences like the Mountain West are probably more cognizant of trying to have the pulse of all of their member universities, so that way there's no surprises like schools bolting for a different conference. So overall, I think that was good that she's making an appearance here and keeping in touch with university president and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it did seem like I think one of her quotes was she's content being at 12 member schools. She could stretch to 14 or 16 if needed, but I think it was something like that's out of her comfort zone. So that's kind of interesting that, yeah, I mean, maybe she's at a point where she's just going to play really strong defense and just try to keep everyone together. But you have to think if Oregon State or Washington State, expressed any interest, I mean, she would definitely pick up that phone. So
in a heartbeat,
definitely. Yeah. So yeah, overall, I mean, we're big fans of hers, friend of the program, you could say. And so yeah, hopefully, no more conference realignment talk until maybe next offseason, because I think we're just ready to talk some football. But what were your thoughts on Gloria?
I'm happy that she came to Fresno out of all places. I wouldn't be surprised if she came to Fresno to say, do not leave. I know you're talking to the Big 12, because just so you guys know, it's not out of the picture yet. Like lots of stuff could still happen. And we know Yormark wants Fresno. We do know that. So there's a side of me that thinks Gloria was here to say, please do not leave. There's also a side to me, that what goes along with that is the reassurance. She's here to reassure that the Mountain West is the best place for you, things like that. Now, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that's what Gloria came to do. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just wanted to visit the great people of Fresno, because we have the best people in the world, in my opinion. The people make Fresno. So
yep.
I thought it was fine. Maybe I'm looking too much into this, but I'd like to see the leader come out and say, it's conference expansion time. Everybody's doing it. We're going to 16. We're going to 18. I would, or say it along the lines of, I would like to look into an expansion, something like that. And, it was expressed in a way, like, I'm not opposed to it sort of deal, but I'm happy with 12. I'm happy where we're at now. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but maybe, Caleb Nail would have liked to seen a little bit more, attack. But
yeah. We did get a comment on Twitter from Callie Mudd saying, don't ever remember seeing Craig Thompson coming to Fresno State like this. That's the point.
Yeah, the only time I saw Craig Thompson is when he was handing us the trophy. That's it.
True. Good point.
Yeah. Bulldogs Bob's here. So welcome, fellas. If you're still looking for some Purdue fans to preview with, he's suggesting the Hammer and Rails SB Nation Purdue page. I will look into that. Actually, Caleb and I were just talking about that. It is on the agenda for me for things to do in my world. So I will be looking into that, and I will give them a shot. If you guys know of any other Purdue fans or podcast hosts, experts on Purdue that you would like to listen to, let me know. I will reach out to them, because now is the time. Because Caleb, next week we have Bulldog football. Unbelievable. I can't wait. Last thing before we talk Fresno State football. I don't know if you saw this, Caleb, but did you see what the Tulane Green Wave did for their students if they had perfect attendance for all 6 home games?
No, I did not. Tell me.
They got dinner with Coach Willie Fritz, head coach Willie Fritz.
Really?
Yeah. Wouldn't you have liked that when we were in school? I didn't miss a game. But enough about me. We should do this right now.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, encouraging the students to, be there consistently and, make the dog pound, that much of, part of the weapon that former Bulldog Stadium is, and that it is truly home field advantage. So yeah, that's really cool.
Also, the funny part about this story is that the email that was sent out from the school, all the kids that saw it, I don't know how many it was, but it was a lot, or that had perfect attendance at home games. Only 10 showed up.
No way. No way.
So they probably assumed it was spam.
Right. That's funny.
I think it's a good idea, though. Now, it doesn't have to be Tedford. It could be anybody. I'll go eat dinner with McCann or Coyle or Baxter.
Right.
So, anyways, I thought that was a fun.
Cool.
Yeah, fun idea. Good story. Tulane Green Wave making noise, giving out fun stuff. I don't know how many kids go to Tulane. So, anyways, are we ready, Caleb, for burning questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, before Bob says you would want a dinner with Coach
Tim DeRuyter.
Oh, that's right. I put that out of my mind. He was a coach while I was there. That would be if we were winning, I guess.
Yeah. Bob's comment, the second sentence is funnier too. Would you tell him to recruit the Valley instead of 2 stars from Texas? Oof. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, in the 1-11 season, if that was the dinner was offered, I'm sure it would be not very attended by the students. Boosters or passionate fans, yes, but students, I don't think they would care for that.
I don't think I would have gone, to be honest. That would have been a tough one. All right, let's get to burning questions. We're going to start with our burning questions, Caleb, if you have any, and then we will get to you guys. The number one burning question for the entire Valley: which quarterback separates? Because that's what Tedford said. As soon as one separates, we will know who the number one quarterback is and who starts at Purdue. So which quarterback separates? It's been burning the red wave since Jake Haener left, since the last game. It was, I should say, since Mikey Keene transferred. No one can give us an answer right now. Everyone can say who they think it's going to be or who looks better in their opinion, but none of us are Coach Tedford, and we all trust Coach Tedford to make that decision. My second one, and then I'll get to you, Caleb. How does the O-line look week 1? That's what I want to know.
Big question.
That's my burning question. Probably even more so than the quarterback, because I believe whatever quarterback starts can do a good job if the O-line can, one, run block, set up the run to actually open up the pass game. And then when we pass, do they give them a clean pocket? So those are my 2 burning questions, Caleb. Do you have any for us?
I didn't really prepare any questions. I just have some predictions and takes to fire off here, but I guess
we'll get to those in a sec.
Yeah,
go for the question.
I think one of my bigger questions is on the defensive line. I mean, who is going to be, the force that opponents are going to have to double team? Because I mean, in the past several years, I mean, the Bulldogs have been really fortunate to have a couple dominant pass rushers. I mean, last year being David Perales, before that, Aaron Mosby and Kevin Atkins, guys like that. So who is going to be able to step up on the defensive line to really make the rest of the defense's job easier by getting pressure at the quarterback. So I mean, I think we're looking at Devo Bridges as possibly being that guy. Isaiah Johnson's been in the program for a long time. Is he able to make that next step and really be a force on the edge? And then a lot of newcomers too, and guys growing up in the program too, like Gabriel Lightfoot was a freshman last year that really competed well. So a lot of
don't forget Ennis Jackson.
And Yeah, that linebacker. Yeah, Phoenix
Yeah.
definitely looking for him too. So, yeah, a lot of question marks about who's going to be in there. Yeah, Rob on Twitter saying Gabriel Lightfoot too. So, agree 100% there. I think he can be a force. I mean, he's a big boy for only a sophomore too. So, yeah, D line is definitely one of my big questions too.
I just want to make you feel a little better, Caleb. I believe in this D line. They're going to make you proud. I guarantee it. Bulldogs Bob says that he went to the open practice for the quarterback club members. So if you want to get in, quarterback club, there it is. Last week, Fife and Keene, neck and neck. He's given the edge to Fife, though.
Really?
But the freshman Mandel, I need to go figure out the correct way to say this. He looked really good. He also said it will be awesome to have only a Valley native, but a person from the Fresno Clovis area who grew not only a Valley native, but a person from the Fresno Clovis area who grew up a Dogs fan to be the quarterback for Fresno State in the future. I agree. I think a lot when there's a quarterback from the Valley that stays here, it brings a lot of press to Fresno State. All right, I'm going to get to some questions from you guys from Sidelines Fresno State. Who is one player you guys think will surprise the Red Wave? Oh, man.
Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, I'll stay on defense for this one. I mean, I think that the Phoenix Jackson, Tim Thomas duo at linebacker, I think is something to look forward to for the future. Malachi Langley and Lavelle Bailey have been kind of the solid 1-2 punch for really the last year plus. And so, both those guys are seniors. And, going forward, that's going to be a question mark. But I think that those two guys, Jackson and Thomas, really can, start getting some meaningful reps here this season and, kind of provide some hope for the future. Like, okay, the linebacker core is going to be all right once, these two leaders, move on.
Okay. I'm going to go for two. I do want to say, I'm going to go for three. I'm going to say Stephen Comstock is going to surprise some people this year. And by the way, there are some diehards that listen to this, and no one's going to surprise them because they know way more than I would say the casual Fresno State fan that tunes in during Fresno State or about right now. So this is a good question for everyone. So I'm going to say Stephen Comstock will surprise some people. I'm going to say the depth at D-line will surprise people. So there you go, Caleb. I'm actually excited about this D-line. I think the depth will be there. And then offensively, I think Damian Moore, the transfer from Cal, will surprise some people. And Malik Sherrod, I think the running back room will surprise some people because we lost some big names in the backfield. I don't think people are expecting, to be honest, I think there's going to be a ton of surprises on this team. Just go look at the media and what they're saying about Fresno State. It's unbelievable. They have no idea. I think our quarterback, whoever it is, will surprise. I think our wide receivers will surprise. I think our running back will surprise. I think our entire defense is going to surprise the entire nation, but we're going to get to our hot takes in a second. And I think there's room for almost every position to surprise not only the Red Wave, but the entire country. So I'm so excited. Caleb, can you tell?
Yeah, I think you have a good point there that, obviously the people that care about the program are not going to be, totally surprised that there's going to be some guys that, step up and, become big time contributors. But, a lot of national media, they aren't going to do the research they need to do on, every Mountain West team, for example. And so I think I saw there was some, Fox poll. I think they had Fresno State finishing 6th in the conference, which
I saw that
absurd. Yes. But I mean, obviously, they're just looking at, wow, they lost a lot of production on offense. Lost their best, or one of their best defensive players, to transfer to Power 5. So, I guess based on that projection, you could say, well, they're probably going to take a step back. But, obviously being on the inside, I mean, we've been covering this since the season ended in December. Obviously, we see the potential here. And yeah, so that's definitely the difference between us homers and the national media. But yeah, ton to be excited about. And honestly, that's part of the fun too, is just seeing who is going to be the breakout player or players for the season.
It's so fun. Chris L., the Lakeness Monster, he says, who is going to be the number one wide receiver this?
Oh, and the internet monster comes for Caleb now. Oh, is he back?
Yes.
He's gone. He's back. He's gone again. Unbelievable.
Who is going to be? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Who is going to be the number one wide receiver this year?
All right. So I'm going to give you my prediction here. This was one of my bold predictions. I think I think Jalen Moss is going to be wide receiver number one by the end of the year. Maybe not necessarily in total production, but I think that he has the skills and the frame to be an outside wide receiver, and I think that he can be the guy. I mean, we've heard a lot of good things just around the program about Jalen Moss and the potential, last season when he was redshirting. So he's my prediction that he is going to be the guy going forward at wide receiver.
Okay. This is a tough one, dude. We've lost a lot of production from last year, and I don't know the tendencies of this year's quarterback. If I go out, Caleb, you're going to have to step in here. So like usual, but I'm going to go Jalen Gill. I'm going to take Jalen Gill. He also asked what happened to Amore Edwards.
Well, I know he's still rehabbing injury. I mean, he's unfortunately been kind of plagued with the injury bug for his entire career. And I know that he's a guy that, a lot of local fans want to see do well, because I think he's from Hanford, if I'm not mistaken, or Tulare. He's from one of those. So, a guy that's shown potential, early in his career, but then just been banged up. So I think he's still potentially nursing injury, but I thought you might have maybe a question about Edwards.
Okay, yes. So I saw a video, and it was a kickoff return, and the guy returning it was number 4. And if there has been no number changes and everything like that, I believe Amore Edwards is number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So will we see Amore Edwards returning kicks? I have no idea. I don't know who it was. And just like my internet, and I'm sure my video camera is super pixelated. That was the number. That's what it looked like on my phone. It was cutting in and out like my audio and my video on the live stream. So I'm assuming, and you know what that means, it was number 4. And I'm also assuming that Amore Edwards is number 4. So there's a lot of assumption going on, and I may have made myself look like an idiot right now. But who knows? I don't know. That's all I know about Amore Edwards. Okay. I need to pull up Instagram really quick. Here we go. Okay. So the questions. Why are the Boilermakers 4.5-point favorites? Burning question. And I think it's good that it is a burning question, because I want to know as well. Why are the Boilermakers 4.5-point favorites?
Well, I think that obviously there's a lot of uncertainty going into week 1 or week 0, week 1. I think there's usually a big adjustment in terms of analyzing a team and projecting how they're going to be, like, going week 1 to week 2. So I think that if this is, maybe a week 2 matchup, and, Purdue starts out against FCS East and Fresno State starts out against FCS West, maybe those numbers look a little bit different if Fresno State puts up a really strong showing, offense does well, and maybe Purdue, doesn't look as strong. But, coming into this, I'm not surprised that a Big Ten team is, only a 4-point favorite, at home. So yeah, I'm really not surprised. I mean, that's kind of where I would expect, a book to put the line.
I am a little surprised because, you lose if they go based on the lines that they judge Fresno State. So you lose starting quarterback, you lose a top wide receiver because one of their top wide receivers got hurt and he will be out. Now I know they got a transfer quarterback, Hudson Card from Texas, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they get him, big name guy from Group P5. I mean, I understand that, but based on the lines that they're judging us, I don't agree with this 4.5 point favorite. And we'll get to our predictions, by the way, in a second.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it for questions. The rest are hot takes. So let's get to the chat, Caleb.
Yeah, we got some feedback on Twitter. So kind of going back to the beginning of the show, we got some comments saying that the school should orchestrate chants or yells, for the dog pound on game day, and kind of make that more of a tradition for, getting student, interaction involvement there. I think that's a good idea. See, we got a couple nicknames for Mikey Keene coming in. So this is interesting. We got Keen Machine from Cali Mud, and Kevin Dude says Keen the Dream as possible nicknames there. So I don't know, how do we feel about the nickname for Keen?
If he gets a starting job, then we can go with nicknames.
Okay. Yeah, probably has to win some ball games first.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulldogs Bob says that they are reporting 18,000 season tickets, which is 1,000 more than last year, and the student section has well surpassed last year's sales, which they should. After last year, I believe, we should sell out the stadium against Eastern Washington. I know it's not the biggest competitor, but they should. And I think they are doing a good job. I've been keeping up with the social media from the school, and it's been improving a lot and a lot more active. And, that's where the kids live now. So if you're on there, that's good. And he also says our breakout wide receiver will be Eric Brooks. A lot of action in practice. I think that is a good pick because one of our big name returners, good player. We know the production and we know his, where he's going to be on the field, where he's going to line up. And based on last year, if the offenses ran like it was last year, there's going to be a lot of work in the slot. So there's a lot for Eric. There's a lot to look forward to when it comes to Eric Brooks.
Definitely. All right, here's a burning question on Twitter. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped are we for the troughs in the men's bathroom at former Bulldog Stadium?
11. There's no line. You just walk in, take a pee, and walk out. Wash your hands and then walk out. Actually, what's great about the troughs? Here we go. For all the women out there that don't understand. In the trough, you technically don't have to wash your hands. You don't have to use your hands. You just go. You can't miss.
Yep. I agree. I feel like it's kind of split. Either you're like us and you love it and it's part of the history of Bulldog Stadium, or you hate it and you want dividers, I guess. All right, moving on. Enough bathroom talk here.
I should say, if you're missing in a urinal, by the way, we got issues. We need to talk.
All right, a little insider info from Jay Watson. He said he asked Coach Tedford if he was going to keep the QB starter quiet, and he said no, going to announce this week. So shout out Jay Watson for getting some info. We'll see, if and when that announcement gets made.
Write it down, Caleb. We owe Jay Watt some commission.
Exactly, yeah, giving us some info. So yeah, and some echoes for your surprise player in Comstock. pointing out his experience 7 years into the system. So
Right.
hopefully that works to his advantage in being a veteran here on this defense. So, and yeah, overall, just kind of looking like, just positive feelings about the overall depth chart and just not being respected across the country. Cali Mud points out Brooks, Gill, and Freeman could be the three-headed monster like we had in 2013. So, I mean, those Derek Carr years, I mean, our receivers were crazy too. So, let's see. How do we feel more confident versus Purdue or versus Oregon State? That's a good question.
Oh, I actually like Oregon State last year. I'm going to say I feel more confident. Well, I knew what we had last year, though. I think I feel more confident in Purdue.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I might have misread the question when I said it to you too. Do we feel more confident against Purdue or against Arizona State? Maybe I didn't say that initially. So sorry. My bad on not knowing how to read. Not the first time on this program. So answering the question as it's actually asked, I think I feel more confident against Pac-12 Arizona State. I do think that there's some intangibles or just extra just stuff that can be weird on a longer flight, early kick, just more stuff that could go wrong. I like a 7:30 kick, on the West Coast for the most part against the Pac-12 team. So I think I feel a little bit more confident about that game.
Yeah, and even though Arizona State has a lot of transfers and we don't know a ton about what's going to happen with them, I feel way more confident against Arizona State. Okay. That is it of the burning questions. Bulldogs Bob says, can you imagine Tedford as head coach of the 12-13 teams? No. We would have never lost. Sounds like State would have got destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder, especially if it comes down to like maybe a focus issue and making sure we're not looking ahead. And you think that probably any other coaching staff besides that coaching staff probably is able to get the mindset right for that game.
Right. All right, let's go to hot takes. Everybody wants to get in the hot takes. We each have 3, Caleb. I'll start it off with 1 and we'll alternate, okay? We good with that?
Okay. Yep.
All right, the defense will lead the nation in not only forced turnovers, but sacks as well.
Really?
Depth. We have, I believe, along the defensive line. It's hot take, okay? And last year my hot take hit. So I'm trying not to let that happen. So by the way, my hot take was that Kirby Moore would be poached somewhere else. I don't know if that counts, but anyways, so I got to go hotter. So we are going to force the most turnovers in the country, as well as lead the nation in sacks, along with our depth at defensive line. I think that they are good enough to where multiple players on our D-line deserve a double team. And if you just go mano a mano, we're going to beat you. And so that's why I believe that we are going to lead the country in sacks. Also, I don't know if the O-line this year in the Mountain West are going to be that great.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that in the last couple of weeks that we really don't know how strong the Mountain West is going to be overall as a conference. And we were kind of predicting it's going to be, maybe trending downward in terms of, the bottom half of the conference. Obviously we're confident in Fresno State, Boise State, and, Air Force. It's kind of the top 3 teams at the, in terms of competitiveness for the conference. So, yeah, beyond that, really don't know. And so, yeah, Fresno State is obviously the best team in the conference. But, that would give them plenty of opportunity to, make some statistical, advancements.
Yeah. And what is yours?
All right. So I'll stay on defense. I was kind of scrolling through the record book looking for something that, stuck out. And So I was on the defensive stats and interceptions, and so definitely go back and listen to our conversation with Cam Lockridge and Maurice Norris because they're pretty funny guys, and it was a good conversation. But in that interview, Lockridge talked about some of his goals in terms of stats and interceptions, and he was predicting a big year. So I'm going to say Lockridge has at least 6 interceptions, which would put him on the record board, or at least on the list for at least interceptions in a season and then in a career. That would get him on both lists. That's listed on GoBulldogs.com. So that's I feel like that's kind of a medium take because obviously he showed what he's capable of last year. I think a spicy hot take would be setting the record for in-season interceptions, which I don't think anyone's ever going to break. Caleb, do you want to take a guess at what the record for interceptions in one season for Fresno State defensive player is?
For Fresno State?
Yeah.
Can I get a year?
Sure, 1970.
Yeah, I'm not going to get this. Okay. I'm going to go with 11.
Yeah, you would think that would be enough, but no. Carl Ray Harris in 1970 had 14 interceptions in the season, which is bonkers. So, I'm looking for Lockridge to lock it down. Like we're getting another nickname in the chat from Cali Mud. Cam the Locksmith Lockridge. I think we can try to make that one work too. So that's my my first take.
I like it. I like it. Okay. We're taking a kickoff back for a touchdown this year.
About time. We're due.
We got our punt return last year against Nico against UConn. However, 2008 was the last time we took one back from a kickoff, and that was AJ Jefferson. This is the year. This is the year.
And the crazy thing is we have no idea who's going to be taking back kicks, but we are predicting that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Love it. All right. Take 2 from me. So this one's interesting. It kind of goes counter to what you predicted about Damian Moore at running back. So I think at the end of the season, a freshman running back is going to be like number 2 in terms of, rushing for the season. So I don't know if it's going to be Ramirez or Rivers or Greer, because all 3 of those guys have been, getting some praise this year. Right now I'm leaning towards Ramirez just because, man, he looks like a big physical runner and he's just like, I can't wait to see this guy on the field. So my prediction, a freshman is going to be the second leading rusher. I'm predicting behind Malik Sherrod.
Okay. I like it. In 3 years, it's going to be unbelievable. Our backfield is going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
All right. Last one for me, actually staying on the rushing or in the rushing category. A little bit different though. Whatever QB starts is going to run for 500 plus this year.
Really? Rushing yards. Okay.
I think so. What people don't give Fife enough credit. The kid can move, and Keen can too. I watched a little bit of him move. I've seen him move a little bit. He can do it. And if they do it right, if they do it the right way, quarterback can run for 500 plus in this offense. I believe that, and that's going to be one of my 3 bold predictions. Interesting.
Getting the QB rushing game going back. We've seen it before in the Tedford offense. In the McMarion era, he was running the ball, and I obviously don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm sure he was close to that in terms of season rushing. So very interesting. So my last one, I'm saying the Dogs are going undefeated at home, which would be the first time since 2018 that they would be able to do that. So probably kind of another medium spice level there on the prediction, but I think the Dogs
are on the national media. It's not
exactly true. That is a fiery take, but the Dogs do have Boise coming to town, so that's never a game that you can overlook. I think that this Fresno State team should be able to handle the Broncos at home. So I'm thinking 6-0 at home for the first time since 2018.
Sounds good to me. I'm in. All right, let's get to you guys. let's go to the chat first, Caleb. Bulldogs Bob, hot take. These Bulldogs will finally go to New York Six Bowl and win. So it's basically saying top group of 5 team, which I think is very doable. People are talking about G5 schools. You're talking UTSA, Tulane, some other Boise's in there. Top G5 school, New Year's Six Bowl. We go undefeated or lose one. That would be huge. If we make a New Year's Six Bowl, Caleb, are you going?
Yes, we will go as a show. But I do think it has to be an undefeated Fresno State team. I don't think they're getting in with one loss, even if it's in the conference championship game. Yeah, I mean that would probably kick them out too. So yeah, I think the Dogs have to run the table.
Yeah, we would need help. That's for sure. And then his defensive hit, a hot take, is Devo is going to be this year's Aaron Mosby and David Prowse. I totally agree. I'm in on that one. Devo is going to crush it. He might actually be the guy demanding the double team to where that frees it up for us to lead the nation in sacks. Huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, we have to have someone who is able to handle, 2 guys trying to block him. So, All right. Interesting hot take from Kevin on Twitter. San Jose State is going to be our toughest league game this year.
Okay. I actually do think they will be the toughest offense we face for sure.
I mean, most of the conference media certainly think so. I mean, Cordero was, I think, picked to be the conference player of the year, at least on offense. And so certainly would think that the best offensive player would have at least somewhat the best offense that he's leading. So, yeah, I think so. At San Jose State, I'm sure it'll be a very subdued crowd there for that game. So, let's see. Got a take from Mike. If the defense can force multiple turnovers against Purdue, we win by double digits.
Oh, right. I like that.
All right. Let's see. Callie Mudd says Magdalena will be the one taking back kick return.
Okay. I would not be surprised, actually. The dude is wheels.
Yep. I mean, he's got the speed. I mean, just look at the UCLA game in 21 when he made this touchdown saving tackle. Crazy wheels. And we got a couple other predictions of Jalen Moss being a kick returner, Jalen Gill returning a touchdown. So, yeah, definitely we got some different options there. Rob says, hot take, Boise misses a bowl game this year. That would be so awesome. That would just be good.
I like that one.
That would be good. I would love to see that happen. Just to knock them down a rung or two, just in terms of their pride as a program.
And well, we'll get there in a sec. Okay, let's get to the comment section on our post, Caleb.
Okay.
A fantasy football dudes undefeated season. I think our schedule is pretty good for an undefeated season. Sidelines Fresno State says Fresno State has the best wide receiver room in the Mountain West. No doubt. I don't disagree with that. I think Boise's got a decent wide receiver. Colorado State has a very good wide receiver from the Central Valley. But as a room, oh yeah, we are the wide receiver room. Okay, and Fresno State wins a blowout in week 1 from Randall 64. I think that's the second one we've got about that. And then RD Boer, that's Randy. Dogs will repeat as conference champions. And he asks, is this a hot take?
Well, yeah, it depends on who you're asking.
Us? No, that's not a hot take. Everyone else in the media? Yes, that is a very hot take. Steamy. I agree. Dogs will repeat as conference champions. All right, Caleb. I want to hear one thing from you before we move on to our predictions. And that, can you give me a bold prediction or hot take outside of Fresno State, but inside of the Mountain West. So like the Boise State prediction there.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually something that I was trying to think of before we hopped on here. But I was kind of thinking, like, would it be crazy if Fresno State's in the championship against a team other than Boise State? Like, I don't think it's that far out of possibility there for that to happen. So I think that would probably be where I go is, Fresno State's winning the conference championship and they don't play Boise in the championship.
It's funny. I did the same thing, and I had an opponent for them.
Okay. Who is it?
San Diego State.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So with their quarterback returning, Jaden Maiden.
Jaden Maiden. Yep.
Maiden. With him returning, and the defense is always solid, and the O-line is always solid. Now, they did lose Jesse Matthews, star wide receiver.
Yeah.
But
talk about somebody who was there for 6 years. That dude was there forever.
Right. But with the quarterback returning, by the way, he can move. He can make plays outside the pocket. And they always have a good O-line. They're going to make things happen offensively. And they always have a decent defense. I should say good defense. One of the McDonald brothers is returning. There's not enough people talking about San Diego State. Like there's not enough people talking about Fresno State. There's not enough people talking about San Diego State. So one of my predictions was outside of just Fresno State will face San Diego State in the conference championship. We hear all this stuff about Talon Green and Chevin Cardero and Air Force. People forget about San Diego State and Fresno State, which, by the way, the fan base is like the Red Wave. Enjoy that. I don't want people talking about us all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And on Twitter, we're definitely getting some Fresno State Air Force for the conference championship game. So I feel like if I had to guess, that's probably where I would fall.
Bulldog Born says that we will play for conference championship with 2 losses this season.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. A little more realism from him compared to us.
I definitely could see the Mountain West beating each other up this year.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to put this? This is really tough. I think that a lot of the teams that were down last year are up, and a lot of the teams that were up last year have a lot of question marks this year. So there is where they meet in the middle, and everyone has a lot of questions, and we could beat each other up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how the Pac-12 usually operates, and how there's usually a two-loss Pac-12 winner, and then that's what keeps them out of the the playoff at the end of the year, which thankfully is changing. Well, we'll see how long, but hopefully G5 gets a little bit more opportunity here going forward for college football playoff. But yeah, we got one last hot take on Twitter. UNLV will make a bowl game this year and win. That would definitely be a step up for UNLV on a new coach. I mean, I feel like that's kind of rare to be taking a team who's still kind of rebuilding, first year coach, and taking them to a bowl game. That would definitely be a huge feat for that UNLV program.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Caleb, let's get into our official schedule predictions for Fresno State. We're going to get you the official record for us, and you could keep us, you how do I want to say this? You can look at this and give us crap about it at the end of the season when we miss. By the way, we will be going. Okay, so let me say this. We have a vote in the pod poll. So there's been a collection of podcasts that have come together, and they are making their own poll for college football. We have a vote in that, and we will be releasing on social media. But if you want to get the in-depth and the why behind where we're putting teams and why, go follow Nailed It Sports podcast. That's one of my old pods, and Caleb and I are going to be breaking down games weekly, and we'll be talking about the why and where we put teams on the pod poll. So that's Nailed It, NALEDIT Sports, and that's the pod that I just goof around on. I haven't advertised it, so we'll see you guys over there. We'll talk pod poll and college football, because we're going to be actually predicting every single college football game this year. It's going to be wild. By the way, that was Caleb Pletz's idea. This was not my idea. That was Caleb Pletz's idea.
It's something that I've wanted to do for years, just to see how it would go. I assume it's going to go poorly, but that's what we'll find
out. So we have week 0 coming out this week. Nailed It Sports, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, Caleb, let's talk Fresno State schedule, official predictions going in the books right now. I got to grab my pencil really quick. I should have grabbed a pen so that it looks. Oh, it is a pen. Never mind. All right. Game 1, September 2nd, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. West Lafayette, Indiana versus Purdue. Caleb, what you got?
I have it as a Bulldog victory. I just don't see this Purdue team being too much for Fresno State to handle. So I think the Dogs should win outright.
I agree. I don't think that Purdue, with a new quarterback and their stud wide receiver out, will be able to put up enough points against our defense to win the game. By the way, that's on Big Ten Network.
Mm-hmm.
Bulldogs win. Second game, Eastern Washington at home, 6 p.m. Pacific. That's September 9th on a Saturday. TV, Unimas, and Mountain West Network. I'm going to be there, so I won't be able to tune into the Spanish station. By the way, whenever there's a game on a Spanish station, just so everyone knows, I tune into the Spanish station because the announcers are that much better. They're great.
Excitement level is off the charts for sure.
Oh, yeah. And that's the first of its kind in the entire nation, by the way. I'm giving the Bulldogs a win. We should not lose to Eastern Washington. Pat McCann does not want to lose to Eastern Washington, and I think he runs up the score.
Yeah, I think it's an easy victory for Fresno State. I don't think he runs it up on him, though. I think it's one of the situations where there's some mutual respect there, and it'll probably be like a 45-7 win. Like not too crazy, but Dogs will definitely take care of business.
I'm just glad we don't have to play on the red turf in Eastern Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Who thinks these color turfs are a good idea?
They see it working for Boise. I mean, Eastern Washington, they've even been rumored at possible Mountain West expansion. So hey, they're just trying to follow the Boise playbook.
All right, game number 3 in Tempe, Arizona, September 16th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific kickoff on Fox Sports 1. The Bulldogs take on Arizona State Sun Devils. Who you got, Caleb?
I don't see Fresno State losing this game too. Obviously, if something happens where the quarterback situation isn't good, it could make this game a lot more difficult. But Arizona State's got a completely new team. They have like 40+ transfers, new coaching staff. They're trying to rebuild their culture. I think that a Jeff Tedford-led team is going to control the ball and not going to turn it over. And I think this team wins. Probably a close one in Arizona, but I am giving Dogs a victory on this one.
I am too. I mentioned this is the game I'm worried about because of the 40 different transfers that came into Arizona State. But I don't see how you can get it together. I don't see how you could get 40 players on the same track in the amount of time that they had. I know it can be done because I saw Jeff Tedford do it, but those players were there before the year before. Mm-hmm. This is different. It is an away game, but let me just say, if I'm going to away game, I know for a fact that the Red Wave will be there.
That's right. That's right. We will be traveling.
Yes. So I'm excited about this game, and I see the Bulldogs winning this game. Game 4, September 23rd, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific in former Bulldog Stadium on CBS Sports Network. the Bulldogs play Kent State Golden Flashes. Did I get? I believe that's Golden Flashes.
Sounds right.
And by the way, they're passing out a bunch of cowboy hats that game. So wear your cowboy hat when we play Kent State. I'm going to go with a win. I do think that this isn't the toughest non-con game out there, but it could be a sneaky one. Kent State in the past has had some good players. It's not a team we can overlook.
Could be. Yeah, I think this is going to be a easy victory for Fresno State. Kent State got ravaged in the portal, and at least their projections this year is towards the bottom of the MAC. So I think Fresno State should be able to handle them, especially at home.
All right, so both of us have the Dogs going 4-0 in non-conference, heading into the Mountain West play on September 30th. Time to be announced, and same with the TV station, but we play the Nevada Wolfpack at home on September 30th. Caleb, what do you got?
Nevada definitely still rebuilding. I think they'll be better than they were last year, but I don't see them being able to put up enough offense, especially on the road at Fresno State. So I think Fresno State wins this one probably by 2 touchdowns. And I don't think they have too much trouble with Nevada.
Couldn't have said it better. It's a win for the Dogs. 5-0. Moving on to October 7th. That's a Saturday in Laramie, Wyoming, playing the Wyoming Cowboys. I'll start this one off, Caleb. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
This one, I know a lot of people like Wyoming. A lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I have to say about Wyoming, and the reason they like Wyoming. They like Wyoming because they have returning production on defense and good defensive players. Not taking anything away from Wyoming's defensive players. However, some people may disagree with this, but I believe this. A good offense will always beat a great defense. I know defenses win championships, and they do. They do. But a good offense will always beat a great defense, and the reason I say that is because our defense is also great. So I don't think Wyoming is going to have a good enough offense to score enough points to keep up with our offense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we have a good offense. I don't believe they have a good offense. Yes, they have a great defense, but a good offense will always beat a great defense. That's more basketball talk. I grew up in the basketball world. Maybe it's more basketball talk. But I just don't see Wyoming beating us. Last time we went to Laramie, I think we shut them out. I don't think they scored a point on us.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of trips there, they've been low scoring, but Fresno State defense has been locked. They've been locking them down. So, I think go ahead and say your prediction, then I'll throw it.
Win.
2 cents. All right. Yeah, I think this probably follows the same trend of recent trips to Laramie, that it's going to be low scoring, maybe a little uglier than we would like. But I agree with you. I don't think their offense is going to be able to do enough. I mean, I think that the theme of this season, we've kind of foreshadowed that I think that the defense is going to be super dominant for Fresno State, especially in conference play. So I think that the Fresno State defense is going to be, more than the Wyoming offense can handle. Victory 6-0, Dogs rolling.
All right. We are now 6-0 rolling into Logan, Utah on October 13th, which is a Friday, and it is scheduled at 5 p.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Network. Utah State Aggies. Some people have been worried about this Utah State team. I think a couple people mentioned this is the game that worries them. We haven't played Utah State in a while. But I will say this. Oh, no, it's your turn to start. Go for it, Caleb.
I was hoping you would start on this one, just because I honestly this is one of the games that I'm worried about. I think we talked about it last week. I mean, back-to-back road trips, short week, going to Utah State. I mean, it is still early in the year. That probably won't be crazy cold there. So I think if there was a game that I am worried about Fresno State tripping up, it's probably this game at Utah State. But I mean, this Utah State team is a really big question mark. I mean, I really don't know what to expect. Dogs haven't played them in a couple of years, and they were really good. I think they won the conference championship in 21, right? So they're only 2 years removed from that. I don't know. You explain an answer, and then I'll make up my mind.
Bro, this is tough. This is a hard one. This is how I'm going to make my decision. Because Fresno State has such a good coaching staff on a short week, and Utah State, well, I should not say this because I don't know for certain if Utah State's coming off a bye this week. Someone can look it up in the chat. But if Utah State is not coming off a bye, we win this game for sure because of the experience of our coaching staff. If they are coming off a bye, I'm a little bit more worried. But I don't think you play on a Friday coming off a bye. Right?
No,
I don't know.
They have back-to-back home games. So they have Colorado State at home the week before, and then host Fresno State on Friday.
Okay, we win that game based off of our experience on the coaching staff, knowing how to prepare kids on a short week and how to travel. That's why I'm picking the Dogs to win that game. And your prediction is?
Big pick.
Tie?
I will. See, this is the hard thing is that, like, in my heart, I never think Fresno State's going to lose. But
right.
I have to. Oh, man.
If you're going to do it now. Get it over with.
Yeah, I think Fresno State loses a close one, and it's just heartbreaking.
Right.
Oh,
that would be
good question on Twitter. What's the prediction for ranking after the Utah State game? So if Fresno State wins and they are 7-0, what's the ranking in the polls for Fresno State?
I think it depends on how well Purdue and Arizona State are playing.
Okay. Does Fresno State crack the top 25 even if both those teams are 500?
Yes. I believe they're ranked 34, 36 in one of AP or coaches poll. I do not remember. But I believe they're 7-0. They're in top 25.
As they should be.
Yeah, exactly. I am looking at the schedule right now, so I cannot see the YouTube chat, but I will get to you guys. Do not worry. I will make sure I will get to all of you once we're done. Next game, October 28th on a Saturday at former Bulldog Stadium, UNLV. This is the game I picked to be the game that I would be worried about. But because they're 7-0 and it's at home, the Dogs are going 8-0.
That's right. Yeah, I think that if the trend continues, the game will be too close, but Fresno State will win by like 4 points and on a late touchdown. But that being said, we've also explained why UNLV might not be as strong of an opponent this year, just because of new coaching staff, new pieces. They do have the same quarterback, Doug Brumfield, stuck around, and he is highly regarded and is a good player. So yeah, it'll be a tough game, but I do think Fresno State is going 6-0 at home, so that's got to be a W for me. Okay, and so the next one is a W as well for you, because that one's at home. Boise State, big one, huge game against Boise State. The media's darling. Boise State comes to town November 4th, 7 p.m. Pacific kickoff on CBS Sports Network. I'm not going to pick against Fresno against Boise. We're beating them, and you have them beating them as well, Caleb. Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
and it's interesting too because Boise State has a pretty tough non-conference. I mean, they go to Washington. I believe they go to Memphis. They host Central Florida. So, I mean, those are all losable games in the non-con for Boise. So, I mean, it's possible they're coming into former Bulldog Stadium with, 2, 3, 4 losses if they drop one in conference play. So, yeah, it might not be as strong of a record for Boise coming into this.
Right. Okay, next game. November 11th, Saturday. 7:30 p.m. Pacific time in San Jose on CBS Sports Network. The Dogs play the San Jose State Spartans. Caleb, who you got?
Yep. All right. So this game, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this game. So maybe that might be a problem for me because
is it a wedding?
No, it's a bachelor party, so I'll be having
Oh.
fun, but I won't be able to watch most likely. Hopefully, I'll be able to, but it just always ends up like whenever I'm not watching the road games, something weird happens. I do think Fresno State is better than San Jose State. I mean, a Logan Fife led team last year beat San Jose State. I think Coach Coyle knows how to figure out Chevin Cordero, and I'm not too worried about that. So I do have this as a victory for Fresno State.
Okay. It's going down. And this is okay. How do I put this? I agree with everything you said. I think Coach Coyle has Chevin Cordero's number, and the pieces that they lost on defense, I don't think the new guys can replace them. And offensively, we should be fine. Now, that being said, it's the way. I do think that the Red Wave is going to show up in San Jose. But whenever there's a good thing going, and we're 9-0 on my books right now, San Jose seems to ruin it. So I'm going to put a loss in for San Jose. And the other thing is this. If I put a loss down and we win that game, it makes me feel so much. So as much as I win down, and I do believe we can win every single game on the schedule when I look at it, I'm going to put a loss down for this one. Okay, November 18th, Saturday, to be determined time of the game. But in Fresno, the Dogs get the New Mexico Lobos on one of the Fox stations. New Mexico is a win. I don't know if anything else needs to be said.
Yeah, I don't think we need a ton of analysis here. Fresno State win. Move on.
All right, Kale. Both of us have the Dogs going 10-1 into the last week. November 25th, Saturday, time to be determined in San Diego against the San Diego State Aztecs on one of the Fox stations. All right, Caleb. How is this season ending for us? Regular season.
Yeah, this is going to be a victory for Fresno State. I think at this point, San Diego State is going to be beat up a little bit. I'm not as high on them as you are going into this season. So I think they'll have a couple conference losses up to this point and will be out of conference championship contention. So I don't think the fan base is going to be super excited there, especially on a holiday weekend, because it is 2 days after Thanksgiving there. So I don't think the Aztec crowd is going to play a factor here. I think Fresno State is going to go in there and handle business. The holiday doesn't make a difference for Tedford coach teams. I mean, they get it done. The Dogs whooped San Jose State on Thanksgiving Day a couple years ago. So actually, that might have been a DeBoer team. So maybe I'll take that back. But I think Fresno State handles this. I'm going to try to go to this game too. I think I might be able to make it work. So if I'm there, we're definitely going to win.
Oh, heck yeah. Then you need to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that San Diego's out for blood against Fresno. They hate us, and especially after what we did to them last year with the onside kick and the comeback. I'm actually going to give the Dogs a loss. Okay, but also I'm just going to give them 2 losses because I believe that is our floor. Okay, I'm going to take the floor. And so if the floor hits for me, I look smart. And if we go anything above that, I'm happy. Is that okay? Yeah. Can I do that?
Totally. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I mean, obviously, like we said, we think Fresno State's going to run the table, but these are the most likely, I think, trap games or difficult situations for this team to be in. And I think we're both kind of the same page here too, that it's probably going to be in conference. I think we feel pretty good about non-con, which maybe we're being overconfident there. But yeah, overall, I think 10-2, 11-1, it doesn't seem crazy for us to think this. I know you had a good question on Twitter lately or a couple of days ago, what's the expectation in terms of number of wins for Fresno State? And I think, in that 8, 9, 10, 11 win range, obviously that's a big range. I mean, that's where we expect to be.
Are you happy with 8?
This year? No. I'm not just because the non-cons against Power 5 are very winnable. It'd be different if we were going up against a number 4 in the country, USC, again this year. And, I think that's a very difficult game that the Dogs probably aren't able to come away with a victory at. And so I think considering 4-0 in non-conference is very doable. I mean, if we're going for, if we're only getting 4 wins in conference play, I think that's tough.
Right. All right, let's get to you guys. Bulldogs Bob says Purdue will be tougher than Arizona State. So if we beat Purdue, he says we're going 4-0 in out-of-conference games. I saw Bobby Hernandez come on here and say, as long as Caleb has G5 Wi-Fi, we're good. Booyah. Bulldogs Bob thinks the Utah State game is going to be a loss, or at least a game that will give us heartburn. Hit or Die is here. What's up, Jake? Or Chad? I don't know who it is. But how much does weather play a role at Utah State that time of year? And does it help with the Dogs' defense? So, once again, the Utah State game is October 13th, Caleb. So, what role does weather play in that October 13th game in Logan, Utah?
Probably not as much as if it was in November. I think it'll be cold, but I don't know if snow is possible at that point. So I think it'll be football weather. So it just depends on which football team shows up.
Yeah. Does it help with the Dogs' defense?
I don't think it hurts them. I mean, I think Utah State is going to be accustomed to playing in that type of weather. But obviously, if it's freezing cold and snowing, I mean, it's hard to complete passes in that. So yeah, I think it definitely favors the defense in that regard.
I actually think colder weather favors the Dogs this year. The way our offensive line coach is built, it's run first. I believe we can run the ball. We have good running backs. I think we have quarterbacks that are a threat on the ground, and our defense is unbelievable. And there are teams that are threats on the ground, but Utah State is not one of them. So I think actually poor weather plays into our favor in Logan, Utah, if that is the case. If not, we blow them out. Yeah, I say that, but then I couldn't pick a winner or stuff. Bobby also said, Caleb, make sure the game is on in the background at the club.
I will do my best. I mean, most likely it'll just be on my phone. Like I'm gonna be the guy watching on his phone for sure.
Keep bringing the drinks in while the game is on the phone. Nice.
That's right. All right,
water. You drink water. Sorry.
Got some action on Twitter here. As long as Big Game Boomer doesn't come to Fresno, we beat Boise. Good point. Yeah, Boise's going to be tough. Complete toss-up. Kevin says 2001 Boise has entered the chat. Oof. Their QB is overhyped, though, talking about Boise. So
I agree.
Let's see. Cali Mud says New Mexico won't get 100 yards on us. Disgusting blowouts. And Kevin agrees with 2 losses, but we could have the talent to win every game.
Yeah, I agree. There's always one game where it seems that we just don't show up, unfortunately. Yep. So which game is that? Hopefully it's none, but which game is that? And then is there a team that is just better than us this year? I don't think there is a team that is just better than us unless the coaching staff is that good at developing players. Yep. So I believe, Caleb, that is it. You have Fresno State going 11-1 this year. That's in pin, and I have them going 10-2. Both of them will be playing for a Mountain West championship. That's for sure. And is there anything else, Caleb, that we need to touch on that I missed on the outline?
I think that's about it. I mean, just looking at future schedule, we got an event coming up on Friday.
That's right.
yeah, definitely we need to let people know about.
Okay, Friday, we will be at the Clovis Farmers Market doing a live podcast. I say live. Let me put it to you this way. I can post edit it. So you come see us at the Clovis Farmers Market. We're going to have a booth with Learfield, and you could say whatever you want and then tell me what to cut out. How about that? Deal? Deal. We'll do that. But we will be there with our microphones, and we want to talk Bulldogs football, basketball, baseball, women's equestrian. If you have any takes on them, you let us know. You be there, find us, sit down. We'll have a chair and a mic for you, and we'd love to talk to you guys, meet you guys in person, shake your hand, and look you in the eyes, because that's how we shake hands. Strong, firm handshake to look you in the eyes. And we're excited for it. It's our first one that we're doing ever. And anything else, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, then next week is game week. Week 1, we got a preview and a get to know episode, getting to know Purdue. So we did it. We made it through football off season. Yeah, LSG. Yes, exactly. Just like a real Fresno State fan. So yeah, we're psyched. Thanks for sticking with us through summer, the dog days, and we are fired up for football. So week 1, here we go next week.
TGIFS. Thank God it's football season. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you guys. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.